Spotlight is proudly sponsored by HEC Media, St. Louis's home for arts, education, and culture.
This is a program that helps people who want to break into the art scene.
We can't wait for everyone to join us this year for the St. Louis Art Fair.
It's always a treat to come back to St. Louis.
Today on Spotlight, we'll preview the St. Louis Art Fair that returns to Clayton September 10th through the 12th. Meet the artists like Allison Norfleet Bruenger, who creates beautiful jewelry and decor to store it in. Plus, we'll take you through the process of Kreg Yingst, who calls himself a narrative artist. But before we dive into the art fair, here's the story behind the flags you may have noticed on Art Hill. It's Sunday and you're watching the Emmy Award-winning Spotlight.
Today is our first day of assembling flags that will be on Art Hill for a week around the 20th year commemoration of 9/11. On this shift, we're putting 300 flags on poles. There are 2 shifts today, 300 flags for each shift. Over the course of the next almost 2 months, we will have roughly 7,500 flags on poles ready to go on Art Hill in the fall. Today, they're using these jigs, we call them, that are measured to exact dimensions, and that is helping them get these flags precise in terms of where they go on the poles, where the Gold Star labels go on the poles, and where we mark the poles at the bottom to go into the ground, because we want them all uniform as possible. Each flag honors somebody who fell in action since 9/11/01.
Thank you all so much for being here. This is my beautiful son, Sergeant Zachary Michael Fisher, who was the youngest of my 3 sons.
He's a 9/11 child. I think he was 15 when all this happened. And I remember him coming home from school being very, very, very distraught, very outraged, not knowing how to handle what he had just seen on television. When he told us he was going to go into the service, he had made up his mind then. So Zachary was in Iraq for 9 months. His unit, he was an airborne unit, attached to the 618th. So they were to rebuild what was blown up. And then he got orders for Afghanistan. On July the 14th of 2010, my beautiful son was killed in Zabul, Afghanistan.
Somebody who made the ultimate sacrifice is known as a Gold Star. On the service flag, that's a blue star when they're in action, it turns gold if they make the ultimate sacrifice. So we attach labels to each flagpole that coincide with the photograph and the dog tag that are specific, one flag for one service member.
What Gold Star families want the most is for their family member to never be forgotten, because they gave up everything and all their tomorrows for us.
The flags will be on display on Art Hill September 4th through the 12th.
For content that keeps you coming back for more, go to hecmedia.org. Be entertained. Get inspired. Learn something new. Connect with your community. Go in depth with experts and your favorite authors. For original programming and award-winning content, go to hecmedia.org. The St. Louis Art Fair returns to the streets of Clayton this September after going entirely virtual last year because of the pandemic. And once again, HEC TV can help you scout out the fair in advance through our Meet the Artist profiles. Just look for the QR code at the end of this story to get connected. As for the fair itself, the event will adhere to whatever CDC and St. Louis County guidelines are in place at the time. The layout of the fair will be a little different this year because of the pandemic.
Some of the differences that our guests will notice are that our artist booths are spaced out a little bit farther from one another. We've created what we lovingly like to call pods of artist booths. So you'll see a pod of 4 artists sharing a little pod together. And then you'll have a minimum of 10 feet between each artist pod.
Can people just walk up to the booth as they used to and walk in and look around? Are there restrictions on the number of people who can go in at any time?
Some booths may ask for maybe a maximum of 2 or a family unit of 1 viewing inside that 10 by 10 space at one time. Some artists may ask that you wear a mask when entering their exhibiting booth.
Does the fair itself have any masking policy?
There are no restrictions. If you are vaccinated, you do not have to wear a mask at our outdoor event. But if you are not vaccinated, we ask that you do wear a mask in order to keep everyone safe around you.
Do you have the same number of artists and the same type of artists that you've always had in the past, even though they're clumped together a little differently?
Yes, so we are still a juried fine art show. We've only had to decrease by about 20. And just doing that, just those 20 booths that we've removed from our site has allowed us to create these open spaces.
What's happening with the food and the entertainment?
Oh, that's a great question, Paul. So similar to years past, we are going to be bringing back many of those festival amenities that our attendees love. So our Pleasures of the Palate, which is our restaurant row featuring delicious food options from many of our popular local vendors, will be returning. And we will also have 2 performing art stages. So we will have our main stage entertainment that will feature local musical acts and a variety of genres, as well as a performing art stage that will feature dance, music, storytelling that will highlight the cultural diversity of the St. Louis region.
Is there seating there? And if so, is it spread out a little bit?
We'll have plenty of seating, but it will be spaced out to accommodate you and your family groups. And we are going to have extra staff on hand to be there to keep surfaces clean and to sanitize all of those touchable surfaces.
What do you think it's going to be like to have this back on the street again? People have still kind of have that cabin fever, I think, even though a lot of places have opened up.
Yes, so we do anticipate seeing very similar crowds to what we've seen in the past. That's why we wanted to make accommodations on our festival site to open the space up, to make room for our festival goers to gather safely in the streets of downtown Clayton. And so we do anticipate seeing many of our attendees return. We anticipate seeing them purchase art, enjoy the food that we offer, enjoy the music, and also drink the beverages. We are partnering, of course, with our official beer and seltzer sponsor, Grey Eagle Distributors, to bring some wonderful product for everyone to enjoy on those warm September days in St. Louis.
Is there any virtual component left to this, or is it all out on the street?
We will have some online offerings. We will have links to all of our participating artists' websites, and they do have inventory of artwork where you can purchase artwork from our exhibiting artists, and you can safely pick up that artwork at the show without actually coming into the festival. You can do so right from your car, like a drive-through window for artwork.
Best of both worlds.
Yes, exactly. So we hope that for those that are unable to join us safely, that they will still shop our participating artists, our exhibiting artists online, and still make those art purchases. And so we would love to see that participation still.
Looking forward to seeing everybody on the streets of Clayton.
Yes, we are. We can't wait for everyone to join us this year for the St. Louis Art Fair presented by Centene Charitable Foundation, September 10th, 11th, and 12th.
You just never know where that spark is going to come from.
We're putting a human touch to everything through the vehicle of art. We give them the ability to hope.
HEC Films. Explore, inspire, educate, and entertain. HEC Films, just one of the many facets of award-winning content you'll find at hecmedia.org.
My name is Allison Norfleet Bruenger, and I am a HEC Media jewelry and assemblage artist from St. Louis, Missouri. I love drawing and painting, and I love metalsmithing, and I just wanted to find a way to place those together. So I like to incorporate a lot of different materials to create a one-of-a-kind piece that goes to that one person. I usually start my work off with a drawing, figuring out how I'll go together, then I'll go to cutting out my metals. A lot of times I also incorporate different drawings and paintings, so I'll actually create those paintings, seal that artwork, and then actually place it into the piece. So rather than art being on the wall, the art gets to be with the person at all times. And I started creating different type of homes for the actual pieces as well. There'll be larger either wall pieces, sometimes they're table pieces. It creates a whole environment for the piece. The person can take the jewelry, wear it, and then place it back in his home. It's kind of a very glorified jewelry box. Being part of the St. Louis Art Fair is just amazing. The people, the entertainment, the organizers, just everything, and the patrons. That's why we're here. The experience that I would like people to have when they come into my booth is that they feel like they're at home. I have it set up that the pieces are out, and I don't have a lot of glass cases and things. I just want people to feel invited. Then when people come up, they get to experience the different artwork within the pieces. A lot of times it's neat because somebody will see a drawing of a woman in a piece and then it reminds them of a family member. And it's neat to see that interaction. I definitely like to work with the customer. I like to talk with them. I am a chatter, I'm a hugger, which is kind of a fun thing as well. And I just like that idea of people sharing their life, and I share my life through my art with them. And when people actually purchase their piece, I have my sketchbook out, and when that person buys that piece, they actually sign their name, buy that drawing, it's theirs. It's almost like these are my babies and this is a adoption area, so they sign off that piece belongs to them. I don't remake anything because I want that piece to specifically belong to them. And I want my customers to feel that it's theirs. I'm sharing that with them.
The name is Kreg Yingst, and I create mainly block prints. I'm predominantly what I would call a narrative artist. I like to feed off of stories. For me, the typical process is idea. Idea is probably, for me, more important than the technical aspect of doing prints. I know for some artists, it's the technical that drives them. For me, it's actually the idea. But I will, at some point, get an idea. And like I said, it tends to be narrative. So it might be from my reading. It might be from places that I go. When I travel, a lot of times I like to research or dig into the history of the place. Obviously, I'm going to be showing a lot of music stuff. So those are inspired, obviously, by lyrics and stories of the people themselves. And then eventually it goes into a drawing or a sketch, and that sketch gets drawn to scale. The sketch then has to be reversed because it's got to go on the block reversed to get your image. and sometimes I'll draw on transparent paper, but oftentimes I'll use the computer to flip the image. And then once I have the image flipped, I'll go ahead and retrace it onto the block. And then once it's on the block, I begin to carve that out. And that's probably still one of the most difficult parts for me is knowing what to carve away and what to leave. And over the years, I've seen probably about 9 different strategies in dealing with shadow and light, hatching, cross-hatching, all various ways to go ahead and carve just a simple black and white image. But generally, I will tell students or beginners, undercarve your work, carve less, because you can always carve away more. You can print it, look at it, and then you can go back to the block and still carve away more. But once a piece is carved away, it's very difficult to go ahead and replace. It's a real honor to be in this show. It's just outstanding artists on all sides of you. It's always a treat to come back to St. Louis.
Meet a handcrafted knife artist later on Spotlight.
The Emerging Artist Program initially was a program to help students and introduce students into the art fair world, but it was very limited at first. There was really an educational component that was missing. In 2010, the Emerging Artist Program was revamped, and it became the Emerging Artists as Entrepreneurs Program. The Emerging Artists as Entrepreneurs Program is open to people of all ages, and it is meant to be an introduction into the art fair world for up-and-coming artists or artists that are looking for a change in their lives. So the Emerging Artists as Entrepreneurs Program is a 2-year program. These emerging artists get a chance to shadow experienced artists that serve as mentors.
The first year, we're working with mentors. We're actually getting to anywhere from learning how you might want to pack your van and get ready for shows. And we worked with them. We helped them put up a booth. We got to watch them in action and them interacting, and that gave such an additional eye-opening experience, because a lot of times these patrons are just a different breed of patron. And it's just neat to see what excites them. It just helped us out a lot.
This is a program that absolutely helps people who want to break into the art scene. Not only because of all of the assistance that they get from other artists who have been doing this for a long time, but also just the behind the scenes information that you get that nobody would normally have. To be able to actually assist in helping to put up tents, talking to the artists about how they put their artwork in the tent, the whole process of getting selected for the art fair in the first place. I mean, this was just invaluable, and I'm so lucky to attend this.
That second year, we got to actually sell our work, and that was just completely amazing. I can't speak even higher. It just helped me to focus and to, basically get your act together, tighten up these things, really work on it. Do you work on your marketing? How to work social media? It was just completely invaluable.
The whole program was designed to help us to become more successful as artists, and it really helped me to be able to market my work a lot better. And it's been evident in that I've been able to get into so many galleries, so the benefits have been great.
The Emerging Artists Entrepreneurs Program is a wonderful way for artists to learn if the business side of participating in art shows is something that they want to pursue. You would probably be surprised to learn, but the vast majority of them decide not to become an art show artist. The reason is because it is such hard work, and we don't want to pull any punches with these artists. We really want these emerging artists to experience everything. And so the vast majority of them use this experience to continue their careers in other ways, but some have stuck with it and have become professional art show artists. For those that are interested, go to our website, www.stlouisartfair.com, and we hope that you will consider applying and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity.
Scan the QR code on your screen to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
Intricate Damascus formed by carbon steel wire, pounded down into art that you can use.
I just wanted to make stuff. I wanted to make things that were beautifully functional. Rather than putting a painting on your wall, you have a thing that you can actually use, and it's like a sculpture, and it's part of you.
Balance is one of the key elements in each of Michael Merriman's handcrafted knives.
So it balances, so it's pretty cool.
But the beauty of his knives comes from a perfect balance of three of his lifelong loves. First and foremost, art. His desire to create started at a young age.
My first art show I did when I was 16, and it was a really good show.
It was in Columbus, Ohio, the same city where he attended an alternative high school that focused on the arts. He had meticulously set up a booth with black and white photographs he had taken. But the show could easily have ended in defeat.
I was so proud of it and everything. I had my own credit card machine and everything, and nobody bought anything. And so on the last day, about 5 o'clock or 4:30, my mom came in and she bought every single piece that I made. They're all hung in her house right now. So, yeah. You know, that one from my mom buying all my work, that meant a lot.
Buoyed by his mom's encouragement, Merriman continued honing his craft, and after high school took an apprenticeship in Maine, where love number 2 was born.
I went to the Rockport Apprentice Shop and learned how to build wooden boats, which is where I learned metalworking and woodworking.
He also earned his captain's license while there, and before long was working on this yacht in the Caribbean, cultivating a third love alongside a French chef.
So the chef, you know, taught me how to cook, like for real, without, you know, he taught me how to freestyle cook, but without any kind of recipes and stuff.
Art, wood and metal working, and cooking.
It all tied together with the knife making and everything. It just sort of worked.
Creating something that brought together all of his loves was almost magical, until his knives and the knife business he started became so popular, his love of forging, well, dulled.
I got rid of it because it got so big that I don't want to do it anymore, and I just want to make one at a time. And so now I make these just one at a time. It's just me.
He lives in his happy place now, a 50-foot former fishing boat that often inspires the lines of his handcrafted knives.
I use some of my navigation tools and just to make curves and stuff, you know, to make that curve, you know, that was a plate right there.
Since that first art show when he was 16, Merriman has successfully participated in thousands more all across the United States, except for one place, the St. Louis Art Fair.
So I probably applied since I was 16 years old, and now I'm 51.
The St. Louis Art Fair is extremely competitive. Only the top 10% of applicants get one of the show's spots. And this year, Michael Merriman will finally be one of them.
It makes me want to cry, you know? It's an honor. It's an honor, and so it's just like one of the greatest moments of my life.
Merriman will make the trip like he does to most places he travels, in his boat. From his home marina in New Bern, North Carolina, where his knife workshop is located, to a Mississippi River marina, finally making his dream come true of displaying his extraordinarily functional art at the St. Louis Art Fair.
It is the greatest life that you could possibly have. I love it. I really, really love it.
The 2021 St. Louis Art Fair happens in Clayton September 10th through the 12th. While you're there, don't forget, stop by the HEC tent to meet the artists.
St. Louis, show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis, show me the way. Come on, people, gotta get moving. Come on, people, gotta get moving. Show me the way to St. Louis, show me the way. Which train goes St. Louis? You know I got the fare. I know my time's coming fast. I got to try and raise the fare. Come on, people, gotta get moving. Come on, people, gotta get moving. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Louis, 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 Louis. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis. Show me the way. Show me the way to St. Louis.
Next week, visitors are in for a rare treat with the zoo's newest animals, dinosaurs. Plus, where music builds unity among many faiths and cultures. Thanks for watching Spotlight. Join us next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on KPLR 11.